to the river. You slay to the river. Walk to the river. Live to the river. Love to the river. Slay to the river.
Hello everybody and welcome to Toyah at Home. Tonight I play the Subrooms in Stroud, which is the last of the Anthem tour for this year. But there's so much to be announced for 2023. It's going to be a very exciting year and we have lots of release announcements coming in the next few weeks. We start the singles off the revamped In the Court of the Crimson Queen with my husband Robert Fripp playing on them and the new arrangements of the songs. We've also got a few Cherry Red releases to shout and clap about as well. So it's a busy time. Robert is back in the UK and we are now formatting and structuring the Sunday Lunch Tour, which, okay, that's in October, but what you don't know is we're actually going out as Toyah and Robert from May onwards. So all of that is going to be announced. There are some surprises before May 2023, but those are total pop-up surprises. So next year for me is very much about Toyah and Robert the concerts and getting ready for the Sunday Lunch Tour, which is pure party fun. But we start now. So even though I'm ending my touring today, I've got a lot going on. And then the following Sunday, the 20th of November, I'm with the Orchestra of the Swan at the Stratford-upon-Avon Playhouse, performing Roald Dahl's Little Red Riding Hood and The Three Little Pigs. It's incredibly funny, and if you've got young people in your family, they will love it because it's so alternate to the saccharine nature of fairy tales. But if you love Roald Dahl, you'll know what he's about. He puts a really wicked twist in the tale. So this week, I'm going to be reacting to Blue Meaning, and this is not only just a special album, but it's a very special year for me because I made a documentary for ITV called Toyah, 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 directed by Graham Moore. And for me, it is one of the highlights of my career. His insight into me is both edgy, dangerous, alternate, and yet incredibly informative and welcomes the viewer in. It's the most fantastic documentary. So the performance we're looking at is me on top of Battersea Power Station. Now, when we did this, no one was interested in Battersea Power Station, and we're talking about 1980, and there was many people trying to buy it and develop it, but every developer that bought it during this time kind of crashed. It just didn't happen. They went bankrupt, they disappeared. So the Battersea Power Station, even though it was gloriously intact, with every working part of the machinery loved and kept and polished every day, because I was shown round the power station and the people who worked there were so utterly proud of its pristine nature. It was, I walked in there and I could not believe how beautiful the environment was. And when we went up to the actual main power floor, everything was working, everything was in absolutely pristine condition, with a team of staff there utterly dedicated to it. But no one knew what was going to happen to this building. There was many discussions about it needing to stop being a working power station, that should it become a domestic living accommodation and flats should be added. Well, that's the way it went. And recently it has been opened and announced as a destination place for shopping, because within the ground floor there's now shops, and then all around it is apartments, There was a very strong rumour once when they were launching this that Elton John did a concert and his payment was a penthouse in the building. I know Sting bought into the building. Whether they're still involved, I don't know. But it's now a very glorious landmark site for Battersea and London, and it's up and working. But my memories of it are far more, well, they're actually really interesting, because this was at a time where billionaires were not present in London. So my memory of it is this pristine historic building with the most glorious ancient workings within it, but also no one was interested in it. And I say no one was interested in it, but this was the late 70s, early 80s, where the big money wasn't around. There was recession, there was doubt, there was lots of riots going on, and we were thinking more as we used to think in the 70s, rather than moving way, way into the future with that acceleration that we have in present time, where we now think ahead of the present time. So what I'm trying to say to you is, with buildings like Battersea Power Station and very old buildings, the thinking was still structured in the past. Now, I think we live very much with thinking that always is future thinking, for very good reasons as well, when you think about world ecology. But there was one person who desperately wanted to use the Battersea Power Station, and that was Derek Jarman. He wanted to make a movie called Neutron. I would have been in it, Tilda Swinton would have been the female lead, David Bowie the male lead. And Derek really, really fought very hard to get the funding for this movie, but it never got off the ground. And I often wonder, what would that movie have been? What would it have done for everyone's careers? And I think it would have been one of Jarman's breakthrough movies. So I just wish it got made. Now, as I said, I'm going to be talking about Blue Meaning today, but I just want to show you something. These are my mum's Christmas decorations. So mum and dad always had these out, these wonderful things. This I bought for Robert in Padstow last year to remind him of trains going around Christmas trees when he was away on tour. On this tree, this is my mother's memory tree. So I have her angels, which are these glass baubles here changing colour. I only discovered those in her loft when we cleared her cottage. But everything on this tree relates to my mother. She bought me these stars. Everything has either been in our home in King's Heath when I was a child, or she bought me since we moved to this town. And obviously she's not with us anymore, but we have memory trees. And I've been so thrilled this week. I've had a chance to watch some TV, and so many people are now not getting real Christmas trees, but instead are having memory trees. And I just think, yep, it's the way to go. So now we are going to look at Graham Moore's documentary, Toyah, 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 with a performance of Blue Meaning on the top of Battersea Power Station. Now you will see me, let me just get this going for you. I almost turned the phone off then rather than my computer. So this opens with this iconic shot of Battersea Power Station, where Pink Floyd did a concert with a floating pig off the towers. It's so wildly exciting. It was a very grey, bleak day. And what I love, as a white van goes that way, the train goes that way, and you're wondering, is anything playing in reverse, or is this actually playing forward? Then you get the tall tunnel structure and the beginning of the song. Pete Bush's absolutely wonderful suspended chords, and there I am in my Willie Brown black dress without the white bib on, and this was the dress that I wore on the cover of Blue Meaning, the album. I'm wearing this ankh, which I believe is a great frog ankh before they moved to Carnaby Street. I got this opposite in the market in Kensington High Street. It was opposite what was to become Hyper, and that wonderful alternate market for hippies. And I bought this in '79, so I'm wearing that. The moon face I'm wearing round my neck is off my mother's charm bracelet, which is now reappropriated back onto her charm bracelet. And I am holding this, which many of you will have seen before, because it's one of my prized possessions, which I am increasingly terrified of holding. I bought this on Kensington Church Street in a shop called Strangeways that sold art students' work. There were only 2 copies made. One was black and the other was red. I wish I bought both of them, because at the time these were 23 quid, but that was a lot of money for me. So I bought this one, and this is what's in my arm, and very much has inspired me over the years, especially with Marionette, which has become one of the most popular songs in my set on the Anthem tour. So everything you're looking at now on this video has become developed. It's now structures where people live, are very beautiful, opposite Battersea Park, which has a Buddhist temple, really, really worth visiting. Absolutely gorgeous. The song itself for me is very much about the Industrial Revolution and how main cities became industrialized. It's a bleak song. It's about workhouses. It's about the fact that children were put to work and that single mothers were put to work and they were worked to death. And the fact that the human race is kind of a byproduct of something else, i.e. we're here to work and to create energy and to create the world for a secret society. So it's a very, very bleak song, but also a really powerful song for a performer to sing. Another thing that's quite intriguing is the verse structures change all the time. 4/5. They're completely altering every time. And when we tried to perform this live, and I think I could do this now with the Posh Pop Band, I know we could get an absolutely brilliant version. But historically, in the last 20 years, it's been impossible to actually get this to work live. But I think we're moving into a space now because the Posh Pop Band are just so breathtaking. And thank you, Posh Pop Band, and Nick Roberts for your brilliant sound, and Neil for the lighting, because we are now moving into an area where we can perfect and bring these songs back as they are on the recordings. So here we have the whole intensity, the crescendo of the song, buildings. I mean, even back in 1980, we were trying to say that the world was a little bit overcrowded in London. I mean, I don't know about you, but in lockdown, Vauxhall, the Vauxhall, oh gosh, what is it called? No, it's escaped me. The Market Road, the long road between Battersea Bridge and Vauxhall Bridge, has become a city. And that happened in lockdown. And it used to just be Covent Garden Market. That's it, where Covent Garden Market moved to. It's now a major city. So all of this, very, very bleak song, but also quite thrilling. And I really, really enjoyed watching that with you. Thank you so much. We'll see you tonight for an Objects of Desire with a very sleepy Robert Fripp. He literally had just stepped through the door back from New York from working with Daryl Hall when we recorded that, because I caught him on the hop. And then we have a very fun Sunday lunch for you tomorrow. Everything resumes as normal now. Robert's not going to go away again until we start gigging, so he's home. So we've got a lot to do. We've opened TikTok accounts. We're going to be driving our social media. We are getting ready for the Sunday lunch tour. There's a lot going on, and it's all really thrilling. So we will see you, as I said, for Objects tonight, Sunday lunch tomorrow, and hopefully I'll see you at the sub-rooms in Stroud. And if not seeing you tonight, bring your family along to the Orchestra of the Swan, the Stratford Playhouse, Sunday the 20th of November for Roald Dahl's Little Red Riding Hood and Three Little Pigs. Lots and lots of fun. And I will see you very, very soon. Have a great weekend. Love from Toyah. Mwah.
Be great. grey building breathes oxygen. Satanic mills, conceptive pills weave human beings out in recycling grey dust into white snow. Then who knows? Then who knows? The grey building breathes grey vapors into cold, icy skies. Cold, icy skies. Crystals form in the grey buildings, hollow eyes. Black, hollow eyes, spiky, unfurnished, unthinking eyes. Black, hollow eyes. The red brick building competes with war, cuts down the infants that crawl across its floor. The young, the old, the red, the grey. Wars cannot alter what's here to stay. Disillusion.